Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the teaching conference. I hope you've had a nice lunch. My name's Nicola, and Nicola McGrath, and I am one of the teachers for the British Council. So welcome to this session on mindfulness, and thank you for choosing this session. Let me just go ahead and share what I want to go through with you today. So the session today is all about how mindfulness can help you in the classroom, but also how it can help you as a teacher. Okay, so and how it will help you and your students to focus. As a quick overview of what we'll be looking at, so I will be giving you a definition of what mindfulness is. We'll also look at the benefits of mindfulness. I also wanted to explain the reason why I started getting into mindfulness, my inspiration for it. And we will be spending some time practicing some of the techniques, like I say, for students and in a way, more importantly, for the teachers, for you yourselves. Okay, so let's start. If you've got your mobile phones handy, just scan the QR code and answer the question, because I just like to see what you think. What is mindfulness for you? You could just write 1 word, 2, 3 words. If you could just write something quickly. What is your understanding of mindfulness? What does it mean to you? Okay. Let's have a look, see if the results are coming in. Okay, fantastic. So let me just share this screen with you. Share. Okay, so here we go. Here's some of your responses. Very nice. Meditating and living in peace. Being aware of your surroundings, finding inner calm, nice, peace, balance, calm, focusing on the present moment. Okay, being aware of your surroundings more. Excellent. Okay, I mean, it seems these are all very much in line with what mindfulness is. Excellent. Okay, being aware of the here and now. Fantastic. Okay, so it looks like everybody that's participated there has a pretty good idea about what mindfulness is. So let's go into a bit more detail. And here are some sort of official definitions, if you will. What is mindfulness? The first quote is from Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, who is the guy who kind of westernized mindfulness, introduced it to the Western world, and he describes it as the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So that reflects what a few of you were saying there in the comments. Yes, in the present moment. Non-judgmental is also an important one. Really helps to keep your view on things much clearer. And because, as I like this quote from Mark Twain, it kind of reflects as well about mindfulness. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. So, you know, if you're drifting away and thinking about what you're having for dinner, then quite often you're not really seeing what is truly in front of you. You can't see everything. Okay, and there's an image here. This is kind of a visual aid as to illustrate the objective of mindfulness. So on the right, on the left here, your mind is starting as a sort of a bit of a mess, and the objective is bit by bit, by using mindfulness techniques, is to make that muddle just calm down and become a lot clearer. Okay, so you don't have so many crazy thoughts going around in your head. So moving on, my delta, when I did my delta as part of the experimental practice, I decided to use mindfulness. Why? Well, I had a very challenging class. There were 8 of them, 4 boys, 4 girls, aged between 13 and 15. And I was finding that they weren't really producing anything, they weren't participating. It was, you know, the typical teenage worries about image, about, you know, looking silly in front of their classmates. And on top of this, the usual teenage angsts, this was the profile of the class. So it was quite exceptional, I have to say. I've never had a class like it since. So amongst these students, one of them had ADHD and Asperger's, which unfortunately 4 of the other students were very much intolerant of the girl that had ADHD, and it was, you could feel the frustration coming from them. If the ADHD student would interrupt, you know, very impulsive, and then there was another student who had dyslexia, another student who'd recently lost both of her parents, and one of the other students was quite shy, defensive, and had a bit of a nervous tic, and one of them just really never showed any emotions at all. So you just couldn't get any feedback from him whatsoever, never smiled, nothing. So as I say, it was quite an exceptional group. So I really felt I needed to do something a bit different with these kids. And on top of it, the usual heavy workload from school, from exams, from pressure, because, you know, don't forget they're coming to British Council. It's an extracurricular activity on top of what they have to do at school. And as I mentioned before, the self-consciousness, low self-esteem. Okay, and then there was me, of course. I wasn't very motivated by this class because I wasn't really getting very far with them. And you know how it is, you feel responsible for their education, you want them to learn, they're not producing anything. And on top of it all, that year I was studying to pass the Delta, which in itself was stressful enough. So what I'd like you to do now, if you wouldn't mind, what do you possibly think the effects of mindfulness could have on a group of students like this? So if you want to go into the Q&A section and just type in there whatever idea, what do you think the practice of mindfulness techniques had on this group of students? Or in fact, what do you think it could have, what effect do you think it could have on your students? Do you have any students in mind that you think could possibly benefit from mindfulness, or your idea of what mindfulness is? So write your comments in the Q&A session. And oh, sorry, I forgot to mention at the beginning that I have got Dave and Fiona in the background, and they are moderating the chat and the Q&A. So in fact, I'm gonna ask Dave. Dave, have we got any comments in the Q&A section? Dave, have you got your mic on?
Hi, yep, should I have a look at publish?
Hello, Dave, right, yes. Have you got any comments there?
Yeah, we've got a couple here saying, does it help them to focus?
Okay. Yes, that
Does it allow them to focus on the moment and the task at hand?
Exactly. That's a very big part of it. That was definitely that would definitely be one of the effects that practicing mindfulness would have on most students. They don't have to be you know, have difficulties in other areas. So yeah, definitely. So let's have a look at a more what research has shown. Okay, so the results according to research. So it does help to manage anxiety, low self-esteem, depression, ADHD, stressful situations. So basically, once I think this was the first thing I read about mindfulness, and I just, well, I thought, right, this is perfect for my class. Another thing, it helps to lower affective filters. Those of you that are familiar with crashing. This basically means that because students or ourselves, if we're practicing mindfulness, because we are not worried so much about other invasive thoughts and things that could affect us, and we are just focusing on what is in front of us, then basically the brain has a lot more energy and a lot more processing that can be done in order to just learn. Okay, so if you can imagine, if you're able to clear your mind and just focus on learning, then you're going to learn a lot more quickly. Another benefit, it helps to protect the memory, improve your memory, and increase your attention. Okay, so as I mentioned before, for ADHD students or teachers, it's very useful. And what's also very important is it improves people's compassion and empathy towards others. This comes from not being judgmental, yes, just being open to what the person is saying to you, rather than behind the scenes judging what you think they're really saying, for example. On a scientific level, neurological research has shown that the practice of mindfulness increases the size of the left hypocampus. This is the part of the brain that is responsible for verbal memory. So once you hear something that's said to you, that part of the brain is responsible for keeping it there. So it physically, this part of the brain physically gets bigger, which I thought was incredible. Okay, and also physically increases grey matter in the prefrontal cortex, and this part of the brain is responsible for decision making, focus, judgment, behaviour, planning, willpower, self-discipline, all of these things which are really key in a learning environment and a classroom environment as well. Okay, so let's look at actually what mindfulness is. I thought a good way to explain what mindfulness is by using this bottle. You can see it on the screen there. It's a bottle of water with some glitter tipped in it. It's the cheapest thing you can find to make. And I think it gives you a really good visualization of what the idea is behind mindfulness. So I hope everybody's sitting comfortably. Make yourself comfortable in your chair. And what I want you to do, you're going to see that you would have obviously you'd have the bottle physically, shake the bottle, and that you'll see the glitter start to move around the bottle. So let's play the video. And the idea to explain this to you, and you can use this to explain this to your students as well, is that the glitter represents all of the distracting thoughts. Maybe you're thinking about what you've just had for lunch, what you need to go and buy in the supermarket for dinner, a phone call you need to make. And what mindfulness aims to do is to just help those thoughts settle. Hence, creating a much more open space in your head to see what is actually in front of you at the present moment. So if you think of the inside of the bottle being like the inside of your head, some of the students already knew about this. They called it the bottle of calm when I introduced it to them. You may have already seen it yourselves, okay, or the glitter bottle. And it's not only can it be used to explain what mindfulness is, it can also be used as a tool in the classroom. If you have young kids or a slightly more hyperactive kid, or kids that don't really like to sit down in the classroom too much, sometimes I would invite my students to come, shake the bottle, sit down with it, and then go back to their seat. And it would it's a nice tool just to give some individual attention to a student that's obviously asking for some, and having something on hand to just give them for a moment. They can shake it as often as they like, and just watching the glitter settle, you can see them start to just slow down. Okay, so that's an introduction to explain what mindfulness is, and a little tool as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to practice now one of the techniques, the finger tracing or finger breathing, or it's called different things. I call it finger breathing. So as with anything, if you're going to teach it, then you need to know how to do it yourself. So I would like everybody to hold their hand up in front of them. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's like this or like this, whatever's comfortable. So hold your hand in front of you and put your index finger at the bottom of the thumb. I want everybody to start at the bottom of the thumb. And what you're going to do is every time you breathe in, you inhale, you move your finger up. And every time you exhale, you move your finger down. So moving up, inhale, and down. Move up, inhale, and down. Move up and down. Move up and down. Taking nice deep breaths all the time. Okay, and we're going to work our way back. So maybe this time with your eyes closed, you're all at home, pretty comfortable. So if you feel like it, I can't see any of you. So feel free to just close your eyes, and we're going to work our way back to the thumb. Okay, the same premise. So breathe in, breathe out. Okay, just feel your own breath at your own pace. Okay, so once you've come back to your thumb again, just relax and notice, has anything changed? Do you feel any different? How did you find the exercise itself? Feel free to put something in the Q&A section again. Or if you have a question, please ask me a question. But yeah, let me know what effect that had on you. Did it have an effect on you or not? Or maybe you're thinking, I could do this with such and such a group. Yeah, what group would you do this with? Okay, Dave, have you got any comments?
Comments coming through. Calming, focused, relaxed. I have to say, I was very relaxed.
Did you do it?
I did.
Excellent. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's all really good. I also find with this, because quite often people say just take 10 deep breaths. But if I do that and I'm instantly distracted by about breath 4 or 5, and then they, oh no, I have to start again. But doing this, it's like a physical track of, going one way and then back the other. It's a physical track of 10 deep breaths, and there's nothing else to think about. Just thinking about your breathing every time you're going up and down. It's a really effective way to clear your mind and just focus on one simple thing. Just get rid of all those other thoughts. Okay. I've used this with all ages, and as I say, I do use it on myself as well. Before a particularly challenging class, maybe just 20 seconds of that's all it takes, and it does make a big difference. Okay, so that's finger breathing. All right, there are plenty of well, I say plenty, there are quite a lot of videos on YouTube. So if you're thinking about, I would like to introduce this to the children I teach, or maybe some other teachers, and you need a bit more explanation, or you can't remember exactly how to introduce it, there are some videos on YouTube if you want to review how to talk people through what you need to do. But as I said, the best thing to do is practice it yourself for a while first, okay? And then you'll find teaching it to other people will come quite easily. So moving on, the second technique that I wanted to talk about is this bowl. It's the Tibetan singing bowl. I don't know if any of you have seen this before. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some of them are huge, like buckets. I've got one here that is pretty small. Okay, I got it on Amazon. it wasn't that expensive, 10 or 15 euros I think it cost. And I have used this as a tool in primary classes, but it could definitely be used with secondary students as well, as a nice way to begin the class, especially if they come in from break time and all riled up. Okay, let's just, you know, bring the energy level down a little bit. And the idea, you can do two different things with this bowl. So you can either, oops, sorry, you can either just hit it. Okay, I'm not sure how the sound quality is, but there is a tone. It's just finished. Okay, probably over the internet you might not be able to appreciate that. So you can hit the bowl, or you can play the bowl and make it sing. So just simply by going round and round, the vibrations start to make a noise. Okay. And energetically, these vibrations are very positive. The idea is to calm all the negative and introduce the positive vibrations at this level. I've used it more on a physical level with children, and I'm going to show you a video actually of how I've used it with a group of my students who are, at the time, were seven years old. I'm just going to show you a quick clip from, it was the first time that these students were introduced to the bowl, and they were given a little activity to do. And what I would like you to do while you're watching the video, or when you finish watching the video, write a comment and say how the children reacted to this, to the introduction of the Tibetan singing bowl. Okay, how do you think they reacted to it? So, just 1 second. I just want to check I have shared my sound. Right. Okay, right. Sound is important on this one. Okay, right. So, as I say, just put a comment in the Q&A section. How do you think the children reacted to this activity?
Yes, so you put your hand up when it stops, when the noise, when it's...
Oh, sorry, it seems to be loading quite slowly.
Okay, but you have to listen, right? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. For me, it's stop later. Maybe we should close our eyes. Let's close our eyes and repeat. Okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That was a bit longer, wasn't it? Right, until it's completely silent. Okay? Eyes closed. Last time. Ready? Eyes closed. Listen to the noise. 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay. Alright, what do you think of the noise? Put your hand up, do you like the noise? Is it nice? Yes? Okay, I tell you what, the person listen, the person who was really listening, I think, was Gabby. So I think, Gabby, do you want to try? Yes, you hold your hand like this. Hold it like that. Alright, and let's do it again. No, it's okay. Let's try. Let's see if Gabby can make the sound go for even longer. Alright. Are you ready? No, hands up. Hands up when it finishes. Wait, right. Are you ready? Close your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Okay. No, we do it. It's every time, every class. If we do this, it's the best listener. Today it was Gabby. Okay. Then next time, somebody. You see, whoever's the best listener. Okay. All right.
Okay, so that was their first introduction to the Tibetan bowl. What do you think? How do you think the children reacted to it? Was it a positive experience for them? Do you think they were paying attention? What do you think?
Just some comments coming in at the moment, Nicola. Just someone said, where did you buy one? There's so many to choose from.
Oh, well, I just really, I based it more or less on the size, something was transportable, because I have to move to lots of different places. So I didn't really read up too much on it. There were reviews. I just went by the reviews on Amazon. I was very happy with the result.
Said another comment, with the reward system, they focused even more. Yes,
definitely. This became a very central part of this class. Like I say, at the beginning of class, circle time, this is how we began the class. And at the end of class, then, at the end of the day, or even at the end of circle time, that would be the reward. So and that would definitely help to say to them, you know, oh, Gabby, you've been the best listener today, you get a go. Or, yeah, they were all interested in getting it to get a go, definitely.
It's interesting, there's a comment here about how each student heard the tone differently.
Yes. Yeah, that's the whole joy of it, really, because then with practice, students will train their ears, so they will hear it for longer and longer and longer. So at the beginning, yes, one of the boys didn't really hear it for very long at all, but maybe the next week he would hear it for a bit longer. Yeah, so it's a really nice way to get the kids to kind of bring the energy level down a little bit and get them focused. And again, just by listening, all your attention is just on listening, means your mind is not wandering off doing other things. Okay, so you're very open to, in this case, to then go and sit at your desk, or go and start working, or go and start learning something. Okay, well, thank you for all your comments. So I've got something else for us to do. So we're going to do this now as a group. It's called mindful listening, basically. You can, I will give you a list, there will be a list of links where you can find this kind of information on the Padlet. You can either say it yourself or there is a recorded voice saying pretty much this kind of thing. So I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to read this out, and all you have to do is listen. I say all you have to do, but you do have to do a bit of work. You're going to have to listen very, very carefully. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you are sitting comfortably, maybe with both feet, not just, you know, slouching, quite actively. So both feet on the ground. Sit with your back touching the chair. Maybe have your hands on your legs, or if you've got arms on your chairs, on the wherever's comfortable. Okay. And as I said before, nobody can see you, so feel comfortable to close your eyes at this point. And the first thing I want you to focus on is where there is contact between your body and the chair. And feel like you're really sinking into that contact. Recognize where it is, on the backs of your legs, on the bottom of your back, on your shoulder blades, maybe. And think about your feet as well. How do you feel? Are they firmly on the ground? Make sure everything is really sunk into a solid place. Okay. Now, think about your breath. So notice your breathing. You don't necessarily have to take long breaths, just notice. Are you breathing slowly? Are you shallow breaths? Are you breathing through your nose, out through your mouth? What's happening with your breathing? Okay, and this can be used as an anchor. So anytime you feel you're getting a bit distracted, come back to your breathing and notice that. Because you will get distracted, and accept it. It's fine to get distracted. So now I want you to listen. Listen to any of the sounds that are around you. What can you hear? You don't necessarily need to know exactly the origin, but just recognize that sound. And take those sounds as your surroundings. So absorb your surroundings. Listen. What can you hear? Some of the noises you probably will recognize. And if you do, label it. It's a voice, traffic, bird, and move on to the next sound. Can you hear something else? You've heard it? Okay, move on to the next sound. You might even start to hear the sounds inside your body. Can you hear your own breathing, maybe? Anything else? So now, there is a calmness to your body. I want you to try and keep hold of the calmness. Just keep listening. Okay? You could do this for as long as you like. But now we're going to start opening our eyes again, waking up a little bit, but maintaining the calm that you've achieved. Okay, so open your eyes, maybe move your head a little bit. Maybe you're just in such a comfortable position you don't need to move at all. Okay, and I just wonder, did you hear anything that you didn't know was there? Were there any sounds going on in the place where you are that you didn't know were there, that you could hear for the first time? Write something in the Q&A section. Any surprises? Maybe you could hear something from my feed, because you're all in silence. Yes, Dave, anything?
Just waiting at the moment, but I could hear the fan in my computer.
In your computer? Wow. Yeah.
Someone didn't hear that my dog's breathing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And how do you feel? How did that make you feel? Was that could you see the benefit from that? Any people saying
their tumble dryer is very loud?
Yeah, when you do this exercise, it's amazing how loud sounds become, really. I know we did this before in a training session and everybody could hear the clock. It was deafening. Never heard it before in our lives, but
someone here has written the sound of your PC seemed to be the sound of the sea.
Oh, wow. It's so interesting to just stop and notice. There's so much going on around us that we're so distracted from by crazy lives. We really don't notice these things until we actually just stop and pay attention. So going back to the original definition, you know, paying attention to the present moment non-judgmentally. Here, this is a perfect example of what mindfulness is, you know, just listening. That's all you're doing, labeling a sound, and in the meantime your mind is full of nothing but that. So this was maybe this would be something for older students you have, or again something for you, something for somebody in your family. Maybe maybe you're thinking of a personal situation that would benefit this. So many people can benefit from this, really. Okay, so we're not going to do that. How are we doing for time? Right, just quickly, a few bite-sized mindfulness activities you can do if you find well, I'm sure everybody is very busy, as you're all teachers. You've always got lots and lots of things to do. It never ends. So any opportunity, there are many, take it to practice mindfulness. One nice thing I found that I've started doing with students is, after asking a question, just to wait, literally count in my head 3 seconds. So who can give me the answer to number 2? 2. Just giving them time to think, oh, I've been asked a question. That gives them time to process the question. That gives them time to formulate an answer. Sometimes as a teacher, I don't know about you, but I forget the thought process behind just answering a question, noticing that you need to do that. Those 3 seconds can make all the difference. Paces the class as well. Before class, as I said, something I do your finger breathing. Yeah. Take 10, 20 seconds. Or just do deep breathing, telling yourself, I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm a wonderful teacher, I love my students. Okay, so it's finding, literally you can do a 20-second mindfulness activity. Another thing that would help, I find, that helps me before a class, to recognize if I'm a bit off, what is it? Do I recognize that feeling? And labeling it. Oh, I'm feeling angry. Oh, I'm really frustrated today. Or, oh God, I'm so tired. Giving it, just by naming what that feeling is, it helps me definitely just think, okay, that's on me, that's what I'm dealing with, and I don't then project it so much onto other people around me, whether it's students or colleagues. It helps to label feelings. Okay, and yeah, you could do this as part of your routine. You know, when you see the thing going around on the computer, something's loading. Okay, do some breathing. Yeah. If you've got your Tibetan bowl, do some listening. Okay. Or just sit there and do some mindful listening. Okay. Any of these times are a good time for a mindfulness snack. So to finish, I would like to, just very quickly, I'll run through. These were basically as a result of working with my particularly challenging group of students. These and using the mindfulness techniques with them, this was the outcome as observed by one of my colleagues, and made these notes. She noticed the atmosphere much more relaxed. The learners were much more receptive and productive. That's certainly something I noticed. The interaction between the students improved. So they kind of dropped the too cool for school a little bit. And the focus, the productivity was something quite incredible. So after we did the finger breathing and maybe one other technique, and I compared 2 worksheets, one before and one after, one at the end of the class afterwards. And the productivity went up by 43% compared to the first time, which is quite an incredible find. As I say, this was one class. I haven't done extensive research. This was my experience. Personally, also, I slept better. My stress levels went down with this class because they were going so much better. And I was motivated. And I was also becoming less judgmental, more productive, focusing on the present. So definitely had an all-round very positive effect. Let's see, we've got 1 minute. So just quickly, the last thing I'd like you to do with your phones again, scan the QR code, okay, and write one word. How would you, after this talk, how would you describe mindfulness? If you just give me a second, I will activate the poll. 1 second. Okay, so how would you? Okay, So, how would you describe mindfulness? One word. And I will show you the results. Okay, so let me share the results with you. Oh, they're all coming in. Fantastic. Essential tool, necessary, essential. Oh, essential's twice there. Focus, calm, nice, peace, receptive, helpful, concentration. Great. Okay, well, thank you so much for all of your participation. Wellness, yeah, the words are still coming in. I think this is a nice way to end the session with all of these very positive words coming in. So thank you very much for attending this session. I hope you found it useful and you can make mindfulness part of your day-to-day routine in some respect. Okay, and as I said before, any of the links you can find on the Padlet at when we finish today. Okay, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Nicola. It's a really interesting talk. Fiona's put the link to the Padlet in the chat, but some really nice ideas to take away and use with our students. We had some really good questions as well, but we've kind of run out of time, unfortunately.
Okay.
Some really good techniques we can use, especially now, I suppose, with our distance learning. Some of us are having to use in the class. And online class as well. Yeah. Okay, so if you'd like to join the virtual hall, and we'll put the links that Nicola was talking about in the Padlet. And thank you very much to everybody for coming. And thank you, Nicola.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.